Okay. Alright. Hello, guys. Hello, everybody. Oh, just to how my name is William. I know my mom will let me say hello, friends. But today I want to show you something. So today I'm going to talk about the poll. I'm going to talk about what happened to the primary and who I voted for. Well, here, let me show you on the post. So, who I voted for? Steve Hilton. Who else? Chad Bianco's too far behind. You know, that's why. But let me tell you something, alright? Now, why did I vote for Steve Hilton instead? Well, first of all, you have to learn. Chad Bianco's too far behind. He's at 4th place. And he couldn't get even into the top 2. He's too far behind. And, you know, don't even know, Steve Hilton wanted Chad Bianco to drop out. He did not. And Chad Bianco was doing all he was doing by not dropping out. He's displaying the Republican vote, and that's not good. So, well, I could say about the Democrats too. You know, the other Democrats splitting the Democrat vote. Well, it is true that both sides are splitting the vote. Yes, but you know, Steve Hilton could get more if Chad Bianco didn't split the Republican vote. And that's the problem here. For right now, for the polls right now, for the pre-election, Becerra's at 24%, Hilton at 22%, and then Seiler at 20%. And then now, here, it says 56 votes were counted. So not even 100%. But as for right now, Hilton's at 28%. And then Becerra at 26%. And then Tom Steyer's at 20%. But the ballots are still counted, so that's why. Yeah, I don't know why. You might be thinking, right? They're counting the top 3, right? Yeah, I know. But looks like the person's going to be in the top 2. It's going to be Becerra and Hilton. So yes, Xavier Becerra and Steve Hilton are leading candidates at the 26th governor race, holding the top 2 spots. So, of the two primary system. So it looks like they both won the primary. Steve Hilton and Xavier Becerra. But if you want to call him Javier, that's fine too. I'm just calling him Xavier because, you know, I speak English, that's why. I don't speak Spanish very well anyway. Well, and maybe believe there's a red wave coming, you know. That's why. But they believe the Republicans can take back California. Well, first of all, they don't know the future. Only God knows the future, okay? And I'm not saying I'm a spokesman of Jesus or God or anything like that. I'm not saying that God cares about the government. He's not. But I'm just saying that he knows the future, okay? And there are Republicans in California that do want to take back our beautiful state. That's why. Now, the only person, if Xavier Becerra and Steve Hilton are the primary, and, well, we know what happened. But what about the Digital Age Assurance Act that got signed by Gavin Newsom? People have been talking about that too. Well, the only person that will support, that's in the lead right now, that will support the Digital Age Assurance Act, the OHH attestation in California, and the only person who would be in support of that is Xavier Becerra. So I know the person I'll be voting for, Steve Hilton. Now, because, well, now there's some things I don't like about Steve Hilton, all these things. Like, promoting of a lot of some people think he promotes homosexual and all that, but I don't. But that's from other things. So what he does promote is freedom for California. Xavier Becerra would just be another Newsom, and that's why. Xavier Becerra wants to do is the high-speed rail. Now let's take a look at the polls of the LA mayor race. The polls of the LA mayor race, because that's going on too. You might be asking about that too, huh? The LA mayor race. Well, I live in Ontario. I don't live in Los Angeles, but I can show you what's been happening. So, now in the pre-election. Right now, so in the pre-election, Carabas at 26%, Neither Robin was in 25%, and Spencer Pratt at 22%. And now the prediction right now is 35% is Karen Bass at 35%, and then Spencer Pratt at 30%, and Neither Robin at 23%. So, and yes, I do believe that if you live in if you live in Los Angeles and you want to vote for mayor, I would say vote for Spencer Pratt. I believe that Spencer Pratt will do what he can to fix Los Angeles anyway. So, let's see. I don't know what Spencer Pratt will do to Los Angeles, and I don't live there. I live in the city of Ontario, California, but that's okay. We can still learn about it. Because so you see, what Spencer Pratt will do if he became LA mayor? Let's see. Because I don't know. I live in Ontario. So if Spencer Pratt was elected as Los Angeles mayor, Spencer Pratt will pledge immediately to enforce existing laws to clear homeless encampments and crack down on crime. Rejected the city's housing first approach on treat meat first and model, and mandates recovery on addiction and mental illness. He promises that dismantle homeless additional complex by ending non-competitive contracts on non-profits, replacing them on performance-based agreements tied to strictly recovery outcomes. See? And then the public safety of infrastructure over all of the back-to-back basics budget. Frontline over the expense of launches of the search of the fix potholes of the graffiti of the forensic performance artists and major city of the Los Angeles Department Harder of the limit raised of the street details performance of hikes without proof of emergency. Now, the emergency routes of business performance include the streamlined changing command disasters, bureaucratic delays of providing regular relief, accelerate rebuilding permits of the homeowners, small businesses, and additional specific actions of outline include. So he wants a 3-week grace period, arresting individuals that are caught smoking or using drugs in front of children at parks and schools. That's why. Utilizing 3D technology on construct affordable housing, and then holding MPD Center's leadership on measure performance standards, and then eliminating contract renewals and for city vendors of competitive bidding. So, hey, yeah, that's probably what Spencer Pratt wants to do for because I watched the LA mayor debate, but I live in the state of Ontario, California, which is in San Bernardino County, so. But it's learned about that. But it's good to learn about this too. So that's what Spencer Pratt is. So that's for Spencer Pratt. So yes, if you live in Los Angeles, vote for Spencer Pratt, and hopefully become LA mayor in November. Even though I don't live in Los Angeles, I live in the state of Ontario, California, which is in San Bernardino County. But I'll be happy to see that. That's why. Yeah, I do believe Los Angeles needs to be better. So that's. Now, what about Steve Hilton? So what will Steve Hilton do if he became governor? I don't know if he's going to win for governor because I don't know the future, right? Only God knows the future. But I don't want to talk about the Democrat side because, I know what they're doing because I want to do anyway. For Steve Hilton, I've been watching the Steve Hilton show on YouTube, so that's why. So elected governor Steve Hilton will be prioritizing California affordable and tax cuts and ending the Democratic rule and waste and fund. So Hilton plans when it's a 7.5 tax point. Okay. Flat tax and their threshold $3 per gallon. So yes, gas prices, and cut the electric bills in half. Oh yes, environmental rules increase, and agriculture. And he's also creating proposals of CalDOGE, which is California Department of Government Agency, $3 and fund, and and then cover taxes. And then safety. Hilton will enforce existing laws against street camping and expand prison capacity. Coverage of institute immigrants rather than tenure. So that's great. And that's my first choice was Chad Bianco, but Chad Bianco was too far behind. So that's why I voted for Steve Hilton. But now, people are asking me to vote for Louis Herms, but Louis Herms is also too far behind. You see, I'm trying to be more. I try to be realistic about who is in the lead according to the polls, and not trying to be, you know, of who's to see who's in the lead according to the polls. So, I do want change for California. You know, I know that California is going in the wrong direction. You know, yes, I know that Gavin Newsom has ruined California, making ridiculous laws for California. And I know, and the worst one that he signed for, I think to me, is just the Digital Age Assurance Act, which is OS Level 8 attestation. That's probably the worst one he signed for. But what will Steve Hilton do with it if he became governor? What will Steve Hilton do to the OS Level 8 attestation law in California? What he will do with it? Because that's what I'm asking. You know, Steve Hilton, he's a Republican. He will do something different. The only person who will be in support of it, well, all two will be in support of it. You know, the one that's in the lead right now, Xavier Becerra. And also, he is also in support of the high-speed rail project, too. He wants to speed that up. He thinks it can get done into the 2030s. The high-speed rail project. You know Xavier Becerra? Guy. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. My dad just got food for Daniel. Right here it says, you still cut coverage for undocumented immigrants and linking performance rather than tenure. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But we will do to the Digital Age Assurance Act, though. Well, let's see. I don't know. I'm using Brave search because, you know, Google search is doing the AI overview all over your face and stuff. Okay, because if you're worried about that, you know, the OS Level 8 station. Well, let's take a look at Google's idea too. Let me see what I wrote here. Okay, so well, right here. Well, it says right here that Steve Hilton has now publicly stated on the position of modifying the California DH Assurance Act 2043 governor. His campaign is probably focused on instilling regulations, creating California economy, a state version of government agency. Well, okay. Horgan argues that many state agencies permit student provinces away from California, and environmental rules that context provide economy commits a cost of AB 2043 part of the regularity of the remove. And he probably intends to remove. And now, the judicial circle cited by Governor Gavin Newsom on October 2005, scheduled to effect in 2007, the law requires all citizens to transmit aid signals to developers. While Hilton is still criticized by regulatory measures, his system influence of this privacy rule will remain available in campaign materials. That's probably what you will saw on this. Is from Brave Search. I don't. Okay. California Republican Steve Hilton has stated that he would not rely on sweeping down of the statute's regulations, favoring its steady use. Governor's platform is he was no children under 8 smartphones. So, and he specific. So yeah, he wanted us to do is no children under 16 possess a smartphone. So, insistence of regarding user protection. So, citizens over regulations. So Hilton is skeptically proactive of check regulation. Rather than enforcing age verification on strict government mandates, he advocates on environmental and social shift on children's smartphone use. Now, protecting children is a policy framework on protecting children is a key of enforcing laws, and clear security apps of periodic rules hinder taking comments for Steve Hilton. Because the Judicial Assurance Act, AB 2043, is set to take effect by the time Hilton would take office, Hilton administration will take various decisions on how he will enforce or amend existing engaging signal requirements, but he indicated will prefer adapting stakeholders in terms through regulation. Yeah, that's not how I got. Yes, that is true. Even if Steve Hilton did become governor, he won't be able to stop this from going into effect. That's why. in November. Okay, I will help you, Mom. Okay, Mom, I'm coming. I'll be right back, guys. My mom wants me to help her. Okay, well, I'll be right back. What is it, Mom? Okay, Mom, I will. Well, okay, well, I'll do it right now, like you told me. Okay, I'll go get it. Alright, I'm back, guys. I just had to do the close. Oh, come later, Mom. I'm busy with stuff. Well, I got the clothes to do, so I can't help you. Anyway, sorry about that anyway. I was going to read something for you. Anyway, I got that to get the clothes out of the dryer, but I'll do it anyway. First of all, I was going to read this part. So yes, if Stephen was elected mayor, Stephen would likely to push to repeal or defund the possessed age vacation and social media mandates. He opposed this regulation to technology owners, the smartphones and all. That's why. But I also got something from Blue Sky too. Oh yeah. So yes. So yeah, if as Covenant Governor, Steve Hunter was skeptic or sweeping to AI regulation, he would likely seek to repeal or directly scale back the Assurance Act of 2043. He strongly opposes the government micromanagement technology of statutes and student regulations cause harmful and subversion. Instead, he is against imagining frameworks and precises. He told the norms of government and prefers the behavior. And in chapter 16, it says, should you turn down rules and seek comfortable making of this just a cutting red type rather when it burns. Well, even though Steve Hilton, when I was watching his show, he was silent about this law. I was looking at Google to find out. Yeah, he will probably seek to repeal it or restrict it or scale back or try to suspend the law. Probably. I don't know that. That's probably what he's going to do. I don't know to be that true, but that's probably what Steve Hilton's probably going to do. I'm just trying to do my best on Googling it because I don't know much about this. That's why. I believe Steve Hilton's against this law. Even though he has been silent about it. That's why. And he's a Republican. That's why. But you might be thinking, right, that you might be surprised about that too, because in Texas they're doing agification on the App Store. Yeah, and I'll get to that in a different video. So. But what about the high-speed rail project? And we're not just talking about the Digital Age Assurance Act, right? So how about the high-speed rail project? So Steve Hilton, so yes. So what about the high-speed rail project? Well, let's read about this here. So Steve Hilton has pledged to immediately stop terminate the high-speed, the company's project if he became governor. Like being $200 and Bondungle. And he calls it a bullshit train. He will argue that 2008 Position 1A and mandate of the field of the 18 years. So halting the construction of the state controller and the state export authority, asserting that funding of the business plan is illegal, but his running as state controller, Herb Morgan, has confirmed he would stop issuing payments of the administration. So yeah, legal faculty actions of law enforcement investigating how to fraud. Okay, and so he conjectures the California World of the Frontline Right Line train and funds and infrastructure rather than real schemes. So, and right here it says Stephen will kill the project entirely, label it prime example of government waste and fraud. If elected, he plans to implement actions regarding the high-speed rail, halt payments. So yes, Holton will stop all future taxpayer funded the payments of high-speed rail authority in the first day of office. So yeah, he argues that Central Valley focused on the scope of the value of the statewide folders. Mission 1A, he will join the candidates of arguing the projects of the Department of Science and then shifts funding. So he will fund away the rail of address and of lowering the gas price and resolving border of the issues. So yeah, he will stop the high-speed rail project. So that's what he wants to do. He wants to stop the high-speed rail project. So he will he will kill the project entirely. That's what he wants to do. So But also about the social media ban too, you know, that's why. What about the social media ban? Yeah, that's why. I heard about that too back in February, right? So it's it's not state that Hilton would pay the social media and like a governor. He would focus on social media address, but he says of like rules with SDC. So he governor said he will not propose ban social media. Instead, he will draw by one platforms. Oh yeah. So yeah, here. So say a Saban will not support governing social media and children under 16. Instead, he will step down children norms so that children do not have smartphones before the age and beside shooting the birds of that generation. So yeah, he wanted to. So I heard about the debate. He wanted to ban smartphones on the under the age of 16. Instead of that's what it says right here. See. So your governor candidate thinks that no one under 16 should have a smartphone. That's what Steve Hilton said. Here, Governor Steve Hilton did mention that juniors did not have smartphones. Hilton favors old-fashioned flip phones for over modern devices. So he wants to ban smartphones for under 16s instead of social media. So I don't think that's a good idea either, but I'll take the smartphone ban over the social media ban any day anyway. Even though they're both bad. Because, well, the smartphone ban won't add age verification, but the social media ban will. And that's why. Anyway, that's what I want to show you anyway. I wasn't going to show you the Democrat side, but I want to tell you why. And it's okay if you don't like Steve Hilton. I'm not saying you. It's just it's the person I was voting for California. Yes, my first choice was Chad Bianco, but Chad Bianco's too far behind. So that's why I was choosing Steve Hilton. And yes, I've been watching the Steve Hilton show on YouTube. It was a good show. You've been talking about the Democrats. That's why. Now, on Twitter, people have been showing Steve Hilton hugging Gavin Newsom, but that was back in 2016. I think he changed from that, and I don't know why they're still showing that. Because that's just, I don't know why. Yeah, it was in 2000. See, so here, there's no record of Newsom, but indicates that in 2016 in San Francisco. Here, see, this document indicates that project of University of Together of October 5th, 2016 in San Francisco. So this was back in. Yeah, they were relationship at best played sarcastic at the opponent yet, but that wasn't back at October 5th, 2016. So this was a long time ago. He changed from that. This was like about 10 years ago. When Steve Hunt and Gavin Newsom hugged, and this was he changed from that. Oh yeah, here's the picture right here. But this was back in October 2025 when he did that, and that was a long time ago. He changed from that. So I don't know if people are trying to show me this picture here, but this was a long time ago. This was back in October 2016. Right here, see? October 25th, 2016 is when this happened. And that was a long time ago. Yeah, he changed from that. So and there's no sting right here. Oh yeah. Now, Steve Hilton also said he wasn't a Republican, but that was back in 2019, and now he's Republican now. I think he changed to Republican somewhere in 2021. So, yeah. So that's what. So. So yes, but but why? So I believe it's going to be. So who's going to be in the prime? So I believe it's going to be Steve Hilton versus. So to me, but that's something I don't know about. That's why. But Chad Bianco's too far behind. That's why I voted for Steve Hilton. I try to be voting for who's realistic. I'm going to be in the prime. Which Republican is going to be in the primary. So that's why. And I don't want to vote for the person that's far behind. So. Yeah, so yeah. So that's why. So it looks like that's. So the person I'm going to be voting in November is probably just Steve Hilton. So who's the other person then? Well, Xavier Becerra is going to be the other person who won. Is the other person that that also won. That also going to be in the primary along with Steve Hilton. So that's probably why. But I know that so I know that Steve Hilton wants a better California, so that's why. So. Yeah. And I know, I used to be against voting, but I learned that voting what keeps the country free. So. That's why. And don't worry, I'll talk about more bills that have been coming out in California. I just want to talk about the primary just today because it's just something I have to talk about today anyway. So here's the polls right here. You want to do all candidates. So here's Steve Hilton at 27%. I mean, it's just too early to call, but yeah, so Steve Hilton at 27.2%, Xavier Becerra at 25.9 at 26%, and then Tom Steyer at 20%, Chad Bianco at 11%. And there's Katie Porter at 5%, and then Matt Mahan at 4%. And everybody else is lower. Oh yeah, and you were about Eric Swalwell jumping. Yeah, yes, Eric Swalwell did drop out of the governor race, but but look who voted for him. 20,000 people still voted for him. 0.4%. So yes, so they still voted for him, and it's because it's because they probably haven't heard that he dropped out. They probably didn't heard that he dropped out of the race back in the ending of April. Well, who wanted him to do that anyway? Well, the person who wanted Eric Swalwell to drop out was Chad Bianco, and he also said about Eric Swalwell that he needs to resign from Congress as well. That's what Chad Bianco said to Eric Swalwell, and he did drop out of the governor race. And look, yes, and Eric Swalwell did drop out of the governor race anyway. But why? You might be asking, right? Why did Eric Swalwell drop out of the governor race? Well, why did Eric Swalwell dropped out? Well, Eric Swalwell dropped out of the governor race and then he signed for Congress due to multiple allegations of sexual misconduct, including claims of sexual assault, rape for women, and whom a former staffer. Yes, Mom?
Are you done in there?
No, Mom. I said no.
We're gonna go eat.
Okay.
Come on, we're gonna go eat. Get your shoes on.
I don't want to go out to eat.
I knew you wouldn't. I knew you'd say that. Well, then you do the clothes and stay home. And you do the clothes.
Okay,
Because I'll be
Mom.
coming home, and the clothes are not done, you're in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, the clothes not done, you're in trouble.
Anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, I was gonna.
Come on, Daniel.
It says sexual rape of women on a former staffer. Allegations on the San Francisco corner. The evaluated. I mean, so the attorney for Democrats and what's the except politics. See, Swalwell denied allegations of false allegations in the past. He denied allegations of not landing in his campaign from Congress and became effective on April 14th. And then he scheduled it April 18th for his seat.
Last name is Hackman. Date of birth January 23rd, 1962.
So that's why, and this is why Eric Swalwell dropped out of the governor race. There's a lot of people that want to run for governor of California. That's why. Here's the Governor County results. Look at all this red. Looks like Chappiago got the most in the city of Riverside, but Steve Hilton got the most in the San Bernardino County. Yeah, Becerra got more in Imperial County, and so it's Los Angeles. Oh yeah, Steyer got more in Santa Barbara. So it looks like, yeah, the person who won the most counties is Steve Hilton. And this was from NBC News. But what about the LA mayor race? I don't know much about that one, so. If you're looking for the LA mayor results, right now you got at Carabas at 35%, and then Spencer Pratt at 29%, and then Nanthia Robin at 23%. Oh, and there's Adam Miller at 4%. So there's a lot of, so yeah, many people want to run as LA mayor. It says Carabas is advancing to the general election. So it looks like it's just these ones. So that's for the LA mayor race, and then for this one. So that's what it's so far anyway. I just look at NBC News. But that's what it is right now, anyway. So anyway, I know I gotta do the close right now, but at least I show you the results right here anyway. You can look at it on NBC News yourself. I think in my next video I'll be talking about more bills coming out of California and the US. But first I want to show you something else. So before I go, I want to show you something else. So have you heard about this bill here? Have you heard about this bill? No Kill Switches in Cars Act? Well, it's a bill. Right here, see? Well, do you hear about the bill called no? Do you hear about the car? Do you ever heard on YouTube that was that we're gonna have they're gonna have AI surveillance and kill switches on cars, starting next year. Well, there is a bill that will repeal that law. Right here, see, it says it's here. It's HR 1137 called No Kill Switches in Cars Act. Right here, this bill repeals the requirement of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration prescribed federal motor vehicle safety standard of requirements certain passenger vehicles equipped with advanced drunk impaired prevention technology. Currently, there's no federal motor vehicle safety standard of the required technology. Been general, the advanced drunk prevention technology of system 1 of the to 2, and of alcohol is at 8% of operation that demonstrates intoxicated and impaired. So that's it. Here's the full text of it right here. And it says it repeals the requirement of Secretary of Transportation and it's the issue of respect of the advanced driving of the advanced to the other purposes. So yes, in this bill, yes, it got introduced in February 7th, 2025. It just has been introduced and it hasn't passed the House yet or the Senate. But it needs to be passed to go to the president. And this bill, this repeal bill, once it does become law, and then it will get repealed. So that's why. And once this bill over here becomes law, then the kill switches on cars will get repealed. That's why. Right now, only has been introduced. Well, the kill switches on cars, who signed that bill? Who signed that bill into law? Joe Biden. And yes, it's scheduled to go into effect next year, but now we have a bill that will repeal that law, which is this one, HR 1187, called No Switches in Cars Act. So hopefully we can get this bill, and we can get this repeal bill signed into law, so that we won't have to worry about kill switches on cars. Well, forever, I'm going to say is. Now, there's another new bill I want to show you. And it might go to the... What about the Save America Act? You see? HR 1796, the Save America Act. You see, this bill requires Provide document proof of U.S. citizenship when registered to vote and requires photo ID to vote in federal elections. Specifically, the bill prohibits states from processing application registered to vote in federal election and possess a document of U.S. citizenship. This provides of U.S. citizenship and variation of no ID effective 2005 and gains of U.S. citizenship. The word of the bill is the states of the right to vote unless at the time of registered to vote U.S. citizenship, and bill requires establishment of the U.S. citizenship. Each state must take steps of ongoing basis of U.S. citizens to register to vote, include the invite of U.S. citizens using information of the service sources. Additionally, state must remove non-citizens from visual eligible folders. This bill provides right of the certain folders and inspection of criminal culpabilities of offenses. Individuals voting federal elections vote indication document that voted by the submitted copy of the document request for submission of missing ballots. So, and this bill just got introduced on January. Oh yeah, on January 30th of this year, 2026. You know, the Safe America Act. Yes, and I'll be happy for the Safe America Act to become law in the U.S. because it's a voter ID bill, that's why. That's why I want to show you anyway. Those are the bills I want to show you today because I didn't get to see a lot of the other ones, but yeah. Anyway, I have to go to do the close right now, so I'll do more. I'll talk about more later. I think my next video is going to be about a bill called AB 1856. Which is about Linux being free from a station in California. I'm going to be talking about that next video. I think that's probably I'll be doing. That's probably what we'll talk about next video anyway. Right now I'm talking about the primary right now because that happened anyway. But anyway, I have to go right now. So thank you for watching this video. And just say goodbye. Adios and Zaijian.